Alright, hi everybody. This is for Titans of Darkness. Guts. That guy Guts, whatever his face is. He's like, yes! Finally! Go freaking ballistic, because I haven't done it yet. I mean, this chapter came out, what, in February? What is it? 2 months late? Who gives a shit? Alright. This is going to be my chapter 6. Afterthoughts of Gigantomakhia. Taro Miura's completed manga series, one shot that he did, 7 chapters. It's finished now. It's finished, pretty much, give or take. And now he's starting off Berserk. Now about that, I haven't decided if I'm going to start doing those. I'm putting them in the Titans of Darkness. I gotta reamp them in the Titans of Darkness, because the last live stream we did was a month ago. And I think we gotta do something. But at least I'm gonna do this, and I'll upload it probably tomorrow. Well, this and Chapter 7. And you guys can look forward to that. Like I said, I haven't decided if I'm going to start reviewing Berserk chapters for the channel. That would be kind of ridiculous. Because I know Anime Rick's he's not caught up. And if I start reviewing chapters for Berserk on Titans of Darkness, it's not going to work out. So, on that note, I figured probably for now, I'll just finish up, do this chapter 6 review, and then chapter 7, and we'll leave it at that. Maybe like in May, we'll try to reamp the channel and get something. Get something going on. Come on. That's been a while for Titans of Darkness. But yeah, this chapter 6 of Gigantomakhia. Oh, by the way, I gotta mention about the girl prom. Freaking, I have to say, Kentaro, he's amazing. And this also pertains to this chapter, but also the recent Berserk chapter that I just read, the new one that came out. It's amazing to see his drawings, his, artwork, because it's not, characters is one thing, but environments, especially backgrounds, is another. And this guy does backgrounds like unbelievable. I can only imagine how long it takes him to draw a simple overview of an area. Because he just did, that chapter came off of Berserk. It was like, buildings and shit, the whole castle. It was unbelievable. It must have took months for him to do that. Because remember, he was doing this thing, like, earlier in the year. This year. So it was just, I'm just flabbergasted by it. But yeah, this chapter. Pretty much what happens in this chapter of Makhia, Gigantomakhia, is essentially Delos and Prom, in that form, of that giant form, they pretty much take out the other giant. Yeah, they pretty much just shit stopped them. But what happens is, it's not completely dead. Oh, by the way, that giant, when it takes off the casing, because it was a casing on it, it wasn't his real face, was ridiculous looking. It had like rows of faces with teeth. I was like, whoa, that was freaking boss. I was like, holy shit. So, essentially what happens is, they, Prom tells him, Delos, that it's not over yet, and it comes up, and you just have these rows of teeth. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 6 or 7 faces. Yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 5. Yeah, there's like 5 sets of faces on this freaking thing. I'm like, oh my god. Kentaro, why don't you go to Kodansha and ask Asayama if he wants help? Yo, really? I'm really impressed with this 7 chapters he did. Kentaro. I really am. I really am. I'm amazed how he made these titans, if you will, giants. How he made them. It just blows me away. So pretty much what ends on happening is Prom tells Delos wants to attack it, and basically Prom says, "Put it down, Delos." Saying that our objective is not complete destruction of the enemy giant, but to just disrupt the activities of the Vanguard and primarily the restoration of the pieces of Gaia. And saying that the target should be subdued while retaining some semblance of structural integrity. So basically, she's saying in the long run, to knock out a giant, to not destroy it. She doesn't want him to destroy it, essentially. So, saying that she basically must inflict physical trauma to every cell of its body simultaneously. And basically, what happens is they shoot off those nectars, that nitro nectar again, and launching Galra. That's the name of the robot, the giant they are. And basically, they just shoot out. They basically shoot out with the jets on the back and on its heels, and they shoot into the atmosphere. Well, not atmosphere, but in the sky. And he's just going up, 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 up. And then the next like couple of pages is just, this is epic. Oh my god. You want to hear call epic? Page 9. He's just standing and he's got his foot on its back in the midair, ready to just pounce, on it and send it to the ground crashing. So yeah, that's definitely a thumbnail. Pretty much, yeah. But basically, and he says Icarus fall. He just got a side with his face. It was so epic. I was just damn. And they basically they're basically they just shoot down, and they shoot this guy down to the ground, the giant down to the ground, and it's like a big explosion, boom, and he comes out of it, Delos and Prom, and they say, "Oh, Gara's won. He's Clan Sever, there's new god." They're calling him the new god and shit. Oh. And basically, what ends on happening is the Beatles advance, and he's basically saying that the target activity has been confirmed. It is over. Gora is also approaching its functional limit, Delos. So apparently, what's happening also is they can't contain that form. So Delos and Prom are most likely just going to separate. But then while that's happening, the Beatles people, they're going after the Empire. And that's when he's like, "Oh, let the Imperial dogs get away," And Prom's telling Delos, the battle's not our concern. We must not interfere. And then that's when he jumps. The giant jumps right in front of, Orgun and his people. And he says, he's just in front of them. So what he's doing here, he doesn't want them to attack them. But of course, they're going to protest. They want to kill these people, the Empire, because of what they did. They killed and raped their families and their women and all that jazz. And basically, there was this interesting scene where the giant explodes. It's like all this dust and shit, and Prom and Delos come out of it, and it turned into ash. And you just see Prom's head pop out of this thing. It's like, boop! It was funny. It just boop comes out there and shit, and and pretty much she's out of there, and he's kneeling before them and telling them, "Please let them live." And Orgon's like, do you have any idea those what they did to our clan? And all this jazz. And it was just like intense amount. They raped wives in front of their husbands. They burned sons in front of their fathers. All this stuff that they did was just, they did that to us. And still, you ask me to spare them. And he says, I beg of you. And when he looks at him, he notices these scars. And apparently, Prom tells him that when Delos was Gora, all the pain that Gora felt was transferred to Delos. So he felt all that immense pain that was being dealt to the giant. So this was a pretty emotional part. And, he's saying that way. And then basically she says, that is Delos' way. Prom recognizes this behavior as foolish. And the guy who's the elder there says he thanks for what he's done. And anyone who is part of his clan will be treated like family, but that is tough for another time. And he wonders, why are you doing this? I do not know. And he says, but they went beyond murder. Their cruelty is beyond the pale. And that is why each one of them must die. We have the right to vengeance. So at that part, they're about to execute them. And that's when Prom says apologies. And she does this, weird thing. Prom. She basically talks to everyone. And when I mean everyone, I believe it's everyone who's in the desert. And tells them two choices. Pretty much. Two choices. Hear me. And she basically says, she's basically saying there are two choices. One choice is to preserve the future for them, and saying that by saying that the two giants would bring about prosperity, green prosperity, by taking root in their soil. So they would take root and they would bring greenery back to the desert, and everything would be, there would be a prosperous future for the clan. And that's basically what she says. She says, choose that route. Or, and she's basically saying that the only way she would do this, for keeping the giant and letting it take root, hear Delos' plea. And basically say, make your decision. The grudges of the past or the revelation of the future. And that's basically, also, she adds that, the soldiers will forget the location of their god. And that's pretty much what she says to the elder of the clan, and that's basically the story. And she's like, choose. And then Orgon's like, but our pride has been, and then they're all looking at each other, and pretty much, and his elder's like, so the brave Orgon can best a wailing child, is it? Yes. And pretty much, yeah. He gave in. So, and he's like, and then Delos is like, thank you very much. And we just got this ending scene where, she's just confirming what was said before, and saying the current level of civilization of the world, such sentiments are sacred. What are you even talking about, Prom? You feel the same way, don't you? That's why we'll beat every one of those Olympus giants. We're trying to beat life to the whole world, aren't we? And then there's this part where she hides in. I like Prom. She's cute. She's funny. She's sarcastic at times, and I like her presence in this manga. Life of Solitude, and she's regulating body temperature, and she won't let him in there to thing. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the chapter. But overall, gonna give this a 4.5 out of 5. This was done well. I like the whole climactic conclusion. It was done well. It was freaking awesome, give or take. One more chapter to do.